away.
All right. Pete, it's been a long time in the making, right? This moment, I think everybody's looking forward to it. So you finally get the big show of force, everybody out there on stage. I guess what's your initial impressions of seeing everybody out there?
Yeah, no, it's great to be here, John. Like I said earlier, a lot of hardware up there. And these are the fights that these fighters want. You know, the opportunity to sort of really, compete and then compare and who's the best after like the end of the year to start a new year. So, Champs versus Champs is on. As I mentioned earlier, this will be a 10-pole annual event. Just think of it as our all-star game. And, I believe this will be one of those, must-see mega events on the annual calendar. Yeah.
I like that comparison to the All-Star game. The challenge of the champions, right? Because you said then they got to go and start defending their titles or jump in seasons. I mean, have you guys talked about that operationally? Like what a challenge that might be to fight in February and then either get on one of these Bellator cards or jump in a PFL season?
Yeah, well, hey, the global season starts. That starts in April, and then the Bellator. We haven't really talked about it too much, but the Bellator Champions Series that starts in the spring of March. We'll have 8 events. The fighters have plenty of time to, repair and prepare and. We've already kind of worked through all the logistics and have our entire calendar set. We haven't announced all the dates, for the 4 franchises and the respective events, but the dates are set, the cities are set, the venues are set, the teams are ready to go and support the fighters, and that's what it's all about.
And you talk about this being an annual event. I know a lot of people kind of looked at this acquisition and thought, can you really run 2 simultaneous brands, long term? Are you saying that you believe this is the long-term solution and not maybe just kind of a bridge or a short-term operation?
Yeah, no, we're so excited that we have, it's a beloved brand in MMA. I mean, just think about all those great fighters that have come through, the champions, the moments, and we have this opportunity to, reimagine the Bellator brand, support, these great fighters. And the property, the brand fits within our portfolio. I mean, you think of super fights as at the top of the pyramid, the pay-per-view events. Over here, you have the PFL and the PFL season format. And then over here, Bellator Champions Series. So both sets of fighters have an opportunity to get up to pay-per-view, but these properties are differentiated. Season format, one-off events. We have the opportunity to engage and partner and sign fighters and make matchups in weight classes we don't have in the season, but we're bringing a series to it. Less will be more, 8 global events, international, US is in the mix as well. And it's on 30 events this year, 4 franchises, and we're really excited, once again about international league expansion, as I mentioned earlier.
With all the great things going on, we did lose one potential champ versus champ fight overnight. The announcement today with Kayla Harrison has left the organization. I guess, can you give us your thoughts on that and kind of what transpired, I guess, that we thought this fight was going to happen and now she's in the UFC?
Yeah, listen, we wish Kayla well. She's a 2-time champion with us, women's 155, and, she's moving on to UFC. She's going to be on a historic card, which I believe really illustrates, or it's a testament to the level and quality of talent in the PFL. So we wish her well. It's going to be interesting to see how Kayla does with fighting the 135 division. But nothing but the best, nothing but love, and we're really excited. We'll continue to be excited about supporting women in the sport. We have some of the best women on the planet in combat sports. You saw Claressa here making her third. This is her 3rd fight, right? She's got something to prove. I mean, she's the greatest woman all-time boxer. 2 Olympic gold medals in boxing. She has 4 belts as a pro in boxing, and now humbly, she's taking on another sport. So she's a superstar. We have other superstars. I mean, Cyborg. We're disappointed that fight, between Cyborg and Kayla did not happen, and Kayla chose not to make it happen and move on to her next chapter. But when you think about Layla McCord, you think about Larissa Pacheco. Larissa, 2-time PFL champion, women's 155, and 2022 she won 145 championship this past year. So she holds 2 belts, 2 different weight classes. She obviously defeated Kayla in 2022 in that championship, so she's ready. She wants Cyborg. I know that for a fact, and we have a great division, between 145ers and 155, and we're bringing women's 125 up from PFL Europe. We haven't talked much about that. Dakota Dechevich, she's an amazing athlete out of PFL Europe. So we're bringing that. Not only is Dakota coming up to the global season, but the actual weight class, women's 125, is coming up. And then when you marry the 125ers that we developed in Europe with the Bellator women, the 125ers, best 125 division in MMA, period.
That'd be amazing. Is that an additional division, or will that be at the expense of another division that you pull out of the mix?
Yeah, so we decided to bring in women's 125 as the women's weight class alongside 5 men's weight classes. But outside of that, you'll see Larissa and Cyborg on pay-per-view cards. You'll see my potential Bellator cards, global events. So we have the opportunity to sort of expand our focus with women's, and that was the goal.
Nice. Last thing for me, we've seen a lot of fighters, they're like, hey, I'm a free agent now. I mean, we knew there was going to be some roster attrition. I guess kind of where do you stand, with how much of the Bellator roster will be kept around and how many decisions still need to be made, or has that all been done at this point?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we have a great team, and now combining our capabilities with Ray Sefo, Mike Hogan, and the team, most of the decisions have been made, I would say internally. Who's fighting in the PFL season, and half of that roster, there will be PFL fighters returning, and then the other half will be the new, roster coming into the mix from Bellator. So we're in the process of working through those details, with the fighters, getting ready to launch in April. Same thing on the Bellator Champion Series. So, and overwhelmingly positive, from all the fighters on both sides, and in particular the Bellator fighters. They're ecstatic to get this level, I believe, of support, promotion, and storytelling that they candidly were not getting enough of in the past. But we're going to do what we do and support their journeys, emotional journeys, physical journeys, not just the events, but kind of year-round storytelling for the fighters.
Peter, I'm just curious on the divisions that you mentioned for the PFL season format. Are there